UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson wishes Sikhs of the UK and all across the world a Happy Vaisakhi 2022.
Waheguru ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru ji ki Fateh.
We look at US human rights too. Jaishankar refers to recent attacks on the Indian community. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson to visit India. Agreements on defence, security and education likely. If harmed, India will not spare anyone, says Rajnath Singh in a strong message to China. World War III has begun after sinking of Moskva. Russian State TV.
Не лукавя, Третьей мировой войной, совершенно точно. Мы прямо сейчас.
Ranbir Kapoor-Alia Bhatt ties the knot. And sneak peek at the latest film releases.
माँ, एक दिन दुनिया का सारा सोना तो मिला कर दूंगा माँ।
Hello and welcome to Desi Times 2020 Stars Fatafat News. I'm your host Namita. You're at the right place if you want to have recap of week's news. Top news from India, the US and all across the globe. You have already seen the headlines, so let's look at the news in detail.
Baisakhi, also known as Vaisakhi in some parts of the country, is a significant festival mainly celebrated by Sikhs and the people of Punjab. This year, Baisakhi is being celebrated on April 14th. The festival marks the start of the harvest season. Baisakhi also reflects on the formation of the Khalsa Punt of warriors under Guru Gobind Singh. The occasion is observed by the Hindu community as well, as it marks the beginning of the Hindu solar new year. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson wishes Sikhs a happy Vaisakhi 2022 in a video message.
I want to wish Sikhs around the world all the joy and happiness of Vaisakhi, and to say a particular thank you to British Sikhs for everything you do for our country. I am in awe of the Sikh spirit of service, whether that's through serving your local community, as we've seen through the countless good deeds performed during the pandemic, to the wonderful tradition of langar that means no matter who you are or where you're from, you can be served delicious food at a Gurdwara. And of course, there are many Sikhs serving in our armed forces, the police and the NHS, alongside the professionals and business owners and those who create jobs and make such a vast contribution to our economy. One of the fantastic things about Vaisakhi are the joyful Nagar kirtans, which so vividly commemorate the birth of the Khalsa. In fact, in the UK, I've been told we are the home to some of the best outside of India. So I'm delighted that this year, after a 2-year hiatus because of COVID restrictions, those processions can go ahead once again. I want to wish everyone a very happy Vaisakhi and my best wishes for the year ahead. Waheguru ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru ji ki Fateh.
Happy Vaisakhi to all the viewers of Desi Time 2020 Stars Fatafat News. Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Wednesday, April 13th, responded to US Secretary of State Antony Blinken's rise in human rights abuses in India remarks. During the joint presser after the 2+2 dialogue of top US and Indian ministers on Monday, Blinken had said the United States is monitoring some recent concerning developments in India. He especially called out the so-called rise in human rights abuses and alleged that such incidents are carried out by government, police, and prison officials. But he didn't give any evidence to support his claims. At that time, Jaishankar didn't respond, but on Wednesday, during a press brief, he said that India also takes a view on other people's human rights situation, including that of the United States. He added that India constantly raises such matters concerning the Indian community. Jaishankar's reaction came a day after 2 Sikh men were attacked in the New York borough of Queens on Tuesday. A few days ago, reports had emerged that another Sikh man was assaulted in the same neighborhood. If we talk about the Indian community as a whole, there is a rise in incidents of hate crimes against the Indian community in the US. US Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken and Secretary of Defense Lloyd J. Austin 3 welcomed India's Minister of Defence Rajnath Singh and Minister of External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar to Washington, D.C. on April 11, 2022, for the 4th U.S. India 2+2 ministerial dialogue. The dialogue was preceded by a virtual meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Joseph Biden.
Prime Minister Modi, it's always good to see you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Japan about the 24th of May, and I was honored to welcome you to the White House last September to discuss U.S.-Indian relations, to meet with our fellow Quad leaders, and I'm pleased to have this opportunity to speak to you today virtually and with your 2 ministers and your ambassador here in person.
President Biden, सबसे पहले मैं आपके गर्मजोशी भरे शब्दों के लिए आभार प्रकट करना चाहता हूं। आज हमारे रक्षा और विदेश मंत्री कुछ देर बाद 2+2 फॉर्मेट में मिलेंगे। उससे पहले हमारी यह मुलाकात उनकी बातचीत को दिशा देने के लिए महत्वपूर्ण है और इस वर्चुअल मुलाकात का इनिशिएटिव आपने लिया, इसके लिए भी मैं आपका अभिनंदन करता हूं।
During the joint presser after the 2+2 dialogue of top US and Indian ministers on Monday, Minister of External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar made some strong remarks about India's position on buying oil from Russia when asked a question by a US journalist.
The ministers Jaishankar and Singh, why not condemn Russia's invasion? Wouldn't this best reflect India's foreign policy goals and international standing? And what is the leverage that the Indian government has to persuade Vladimir Putin that the carnage that we are seeing every day simply must not stop, that it's not helping the Ukrainian people, and that it's not helping the Russian people?
So, first of all, thank you for the advice and suggestions in your question. I prefer to do it my way and articulate it my way. Now, as Secretary Blinken has pointed out, we have made a number of statements which outline our position in the UN, in our parliament, and in other forums. And briefly, what those positions state is that we are against the conflict, we are for dialogue and diplomacy, we are for urgent cessation of violence, and we are prepared to contribute in whatever way to these objectives. I noticed you refer to oil purchases. If you are looking at energy purchases from Russia, I would suggest that your attention should be focused on Europe, which probably we do buy some energy which is necessary for our energy security. But I suspect, looking at the figures, probably our total purchases for the month would be less than what Europe does in an afternoon. So you might want to think about it.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is expected to arrive in India next week. The visit of the British PM is yet to be formally announced by Downing Street. It follows the successful completion of 4 out of 26 chapters in the ongoing India-UK free trade negotiations. In a strong message to China, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that if harmed, India will not spare anyone, as he asserted that India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emerged as a powerful country and is headed to be among the top 3 economies of the world. Singh, in his address to the Indian-American community in San Francisco, also sent a subtle message to the US that New Delhi does not believe in a diplomacy of zero-sum game and its relationship with one country cannot be at the expense of the other. The defense minister was in the US to attend the India-US 2+2 ministerial in Washington, D.C. Thereafter, he traveled to Hawaii for meetings at Indo-PACOM headquarters and then to San Francisco. At a reception hosted in his honor by the Indian consulate in San Francisco, the defense minister told the select gathering about the valor shown by Indian soldiers on the border with China.
Российская Федерация о судьбе крейсера «Москва», на котором случился.
Russian state television has declared that World War III has already started after the sinking of its naval vessel Moskva in the Ukraine war. Though Russia said this was damaged after a fire, Ukraine claimed the credit for destroying the flagship vessel of Moscow's Black Sea Fleet through its Neptune missile. But the sinking of the ship led to a meltdown on the Kremlin's main propaganda mouthpiece Russia 1. Presenter Olga Skarbeyeva made the chilling statement, informing the viewers that what it escalated into can safely be called World War III and insisted that's entirely for sure. The clip of the show is going wildly viral on social media.
Спецоперацию России на Украине. То, во что это вылилось, уже смело можно называть, не лукавя, Третьей мировой войной. Совершенно точно. Мы прямо сейчас сражаемся, если не с НАТО, то уж точно с инфраструктурой НАТО. И это тоже надо осознавать. Соединенными Штатами Америки. Круглосуточно они по железной дороге поставляют оружие, круглосуточно по земле из Польши поставляют оружие. В этом смысле, конечно, не шутка, что надо очень серьезно подумать об уничтожении железнодорожных узлов. Там, конечно, вопросики, они все едут и едут, я имею в виду лидеры. Но лидеров надо предупредить, пусть дома сидят.
The couple, who have been in a relationship for over 4 years, fell in love on the sets of Brahmastra. They tied the knot at Ranbir's residence Vastu in Bandra, Mumbai. The duo even posed in their light-colored Sabyasachi Mukherjee outfits later on, and Ranbir lifting his dulhaniya in front of the media, after the nuptials, was one of the highlights of the day.
Have you been to Global Mall lately? If not, then you're missing out on traditional Indian food, ethnic dresses, latest jewelry, and much more. So, what are you waiting for? Soon visit Global Mall at Norcross. Well, that's all in this bulletin. Hope you like it. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, this is your host Namita signing off. Bye-bye.